Hello my loves, what is up? What is going on? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a new pick a card reading, and this one is all about your month of September of 2022. I am super excited to get into it with you. But before we hop into today's video, I wanted to give a huge shout out to today's video sponsor, which is actually my company Luna Gem. If you have not heard of us before, we basically make some really beautiful handmade beaded bracelets, and we make them specifically to your wrist size. Whatever your wrist size is, we will custom make it to your wrist size. They're made with authentic gemstones as well as gold filled beads, which means that you can wear them in water and they will last a very, very, very long time. We have some new sets on there, and we also have some gold plated jewelry if you are interested in things that are a little bit more budget friendly, but it just depends on the quality and your budget that you are kind of looking for. But we have all sorts of different things on there to match whatever it is that you are looking for. So all the information will be linked down below if you are interested in some beautiful crystal healing jewelry, some high vibe spiritual stuff. And there will also be a discount code linked down below in the description box where you guys can get a little special discount as well. So again, all the information is linked down below, and thank you for watching this little intro, and thank you for allowing me to sponsor my own videos. So with that being said, let's get right back into today's pick a card reading. Basically, if you are new here, I'm going to give you a quick little explanation about how this works. So I have 4 different groups in front of me. We have pile number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can take a moment, you can pause the video if you'd like in order to find the pile that you're the most drawn towards. And if you like choosing with crystals, we're also going to pop those on there in a second. But then right when you're done choosing your pile, there's going to be timestamps linked down below in the comment box as well as the description box, so that you can find your pile and then scroll down to the timestamp, click it, and then you'll get skipped ahead right to your personal prediction. Also, my apologies for that noise. My dishwasher is on right now. And it's making, that is some noise right there. But if you like to choose with crystals, then let's go ahead and pop some crystals on these cards. All right, my loves, if you like to choose with crystals, here are our crystal options. So over on group number 1, we have some opalite. And then on group number 2, we have some citrine. And then group number 3, we have some amethyst. And then group number 4, we have some fantasy aura quartz along with some green fluorite. So again, take a moment to pause the video if you would like in order to find the pile that you are the most drawn towards. Then once you're done choosing your pile, you can scroll down to the comment box or the description box in order to find the timestamp that is linked to your specific card, so that you can skip ahead right to your personal prediction for the month of September. So with that being said, without further ado, let's hop right into today's video. Okay, so group number 1, if you chose this pile, then this is going to be your reading. So let's hop right into it. All right, so group number 1, your month of September. We have the Moon card, and then we have the Mastery card over here. And we also have these 2 Oracle cards as well. And this is, you cannot make a mistake. There are infinite possibilities available to you. So where is your heart guiding you? Trust your faith, dive into the unfolding journey. Where is your faith? What is your faith asking of you? So it's interesting that we have 2 of these Oracle cards that are kind of like advice cards that kind of resemble the advice that you'd give somebody if they're kind of like maybe fearing something a little bit, or maybe a little bit reluctant to kind of like start something or do something. Like you may feel like you want to begin a new journey, or there may be something coming upon you that's asking you to kind of like step into or step outside of your comfort zone a little bit. And the Moon also talks about that, because it talks about our subconscious fears, and we might fear like, oh, am I good enough for that? Or, oh, like, can I actually make that happen? Or is it going to be okay for me to step outside of my comfort zone? Is it going to be okay for me to start this new journey? So there could be all sorts of feelings like this going through you during the month of September. And I really think that it's coming up in the beginning of September, and the Moon card indicates that we are stepping into the unknown, but we may have to kind of like overcome certain subconscious fears that are kind of like holding us back a little bit from the future that we're kind of like meant to step into. So there could be certain things going on in the month of September that are really calling you to step outside and expand more. But this expansion is going to help you in so many ways, group number 1, because we also have this Mastery card. And the Mastery card talks about when we step into the unknown, we start learning something new. we can slowly become masters of it. We can become masters of that reality. We can become masters of that new life. And so I see you in September facing certain fears and overcoming them, and then feeling more like the master of your reality. So there could be certain things that are making you feel a little bit kind of uncomfortable in the current moment, especially since we have the moon coming up. So maybe we're uncomfortable about something that we're heading into. Maybe we're uncomfortable about like this new world that's opening up to us, because it may feel like it's a little bit outside of our control. But here we have the Mastery card, symbolizing that you're going to get through it just fine. And it's interesting that it's also the number 44, because that angel number represents really good luck on your side, especially financially, and especially with setting a new foundation for yourself. So a lot of you may be setting out a new foundation, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to call in abundance. I'm ready to like be the master of my reality. 8s are like the number of infinite potential, because they're even the infinity sign, right? That's the number 8. And so the 4 and the 4 is an 8 numerologically. And the number 8 is that infinite potential. So as you kind of step outside your comfort zone, Spirit is giving you this reminder right now, group number 1, that you have infinite potential in this area, especially when you step into the unknown, even though it can be a little bit kind of like scary. Also, there's like a little spider that like crawled into a little ball here, and he's like really, okay, there's a whole spider. Some of you might not like spiders. Randomly a spider here. I don't even know where he came from. That can definitely be a symbol. And it's interesting, spiders have 8 legs, and we were literally just talking about the number 8. Whew. Spiders also indicate, because they weave webs, spiders also indicate creative energy, weaving something new. You are literally weaving a new web, and there's tons of creative energy right now. So there's something that you might be dreaming of, something that you might be hoping for or wanting your life to turn into. And Spirit right now is saying that September is this month of opening up that doorway for you, but it's really going to require you to step outside of that comfort zone a little bit more, to get outside of your shell, maybe have some uncomfortable conversations, or maybe step outside of that comfort zone. Maybe there's certain things that are calling you to like step outside of where you always feel comfortable, because the only way we can create change is when we change. The only way that we can create change is when we change, okay? So I'm seeing September being the month of opening up the doorway to change. The number 5 that we have over here numerologically, because the 3 and the 2 equal 5, that signifies change. Change can be stepping into the unknown. It can be a little bit like, whoo, but it's really important. We also have a number 8 over here with the 1 and the 7, so it's another number 8 that we have. So this change is literally leading you to a more solid foundation and towards infinite potential opening up for you in the month of September. So this all deals with kind of like overcoming certain fears and stepping into a higher version of yourself. Like, who do you really want to be? What would the most ideal version of yourself be? Or how would your higher self handle a certain situation? How would they go about it? How would they approach it, right? Approach it from those perspectives and from those places. We also have the number 3, which deals with networking, communication. So there could be certain things coming up where maybe we are needing to expand ourselves and get outside of our comfort zone and introduce ourselves to new people in the month of September. I'm kind of seeing that being a possible theme during the month of September, is like possibly needing to communicate with new people, stepping outside of your comfort zone in that way. 3s can also indicate learning something new and not being scared, not holding yourself back, not holding yourself back from sending out the important email that you need to send out, reaching out to the people that you need to reach out to, communicating thoughts that you have, introducing yourself to new people. All these different sort of themes look like they are going to be more prominent during the month of September. So let's go ahead and see what else we get for my beautiful group of number 1s. So let's see, the month of September for group 1. Hierophant, so higher learning. Some of you may be going back to school. It is the month of September, so that just makes sense. But the Hierophant does symbolize like school or learning or, higher learning in some kind of way. So you may be focusing on what it is that you really value in the month of September and actually really going for that this month. The Hierophant is also the number 5. And so we have more like change, and we may be seeking out higher wisdom, or we may be thinking about like, How can I become a master of this? Some of you may even be sort of seeking out help from somebody who's already done what you want to do. You may be seeking out help from somebody who you view as a master in that area, and you're like, I need your advice. Like, how do I go about this? How do I do this? You know, it could even be like online learning, for example, like studying something on your own online, or like all sorts of different things. The Hierophant is definitely, though, higher learning of some kind. We also have the Five of Pentacles being reversed. Also, I apologize for my sink makes noises whenever my dishwasher's on, and I'm sitting like really close to both of those. I don't know why I started my dishwasher early this morning knowing that I was going to film. That didn't make any sense, but here we are. So the Five of Pentacles being reversed, this indicates that you are leaving behind like this victim mentality. You're no longer wanting to be like, woe is me, I'm just going to hold myself back, I'm not worthy. You are really confronting old fears that used to hold you back in September. You are truly, truly confronting them and becoming a higher version of you, especially since we have that Hierophant card. You may even be stepping into the role of the Hierophant, being like, you know what? I'm going to see my worth, and I'm going to see myself as somebody who can command my own life, who can even like, you know, step into this super high version of myself. It's almost like deep down inside, you know what to do, group number one. You already know what to do deep down inside. You know what that looks like for you. It's also interesting, we have the Five of Pentacles, tons of fives and eights energy for your month of September, which is all about change and infinite potential opening up for you. And eights are also really good luck and good fortune. So you may even increase your money in some way, or at least lay out the foundation to be increasing your money in the future during the month of September. You may be coming up with really good ideas, for example, things like that. But you're really starting to like, instead of, you know, shoving yourself to the side, and instead of like telling yourself, oh, I'm not worthy of that, I'm not even gonna try, or, you know, I'm just gonna stick in the shadows. Like, I feel like beforehand, like in the previous years, you've kind of been somebody who likes to kind of stay in the corner of the room and be hidden. The month of September is the complete opposite of that. The month of September is you getting over that and you being like, you know what? I don't want to hide myself anymore. I don't want to just stand off in the corner while I watch everybody else get the life that they want to get. I want to be somebody who's out there. I want to be somebody who, you know, is confident, who can approach other people, who can approach the desires that I want, who can step outside of their comfort zone. You are stepping into that persona during the month of September. That is the most major thing that you are going to be sort of dealing with and facing. So we have trust your faith, dive into the unfolding journey. What is your faith asking of you? I think your faith has lately been asking of you to step outside of your comfort zone and to trust yourself more, to trust yourself, know that you are capable, and that the only way that you can build a skill is by diving into it. That's the only way to build a skill. So if we're constantly feeling like, oh, I'm shy, I'm really not good at approaching people, or oh, I'm really not good at this, I'm not good at that. Well, the only way to build that skill, and the only way that anybody ever builds that skill, because FYI, when we're born, we have no skills. We just kind of like step into certain things in our lifetime and we learn them, right? And sometimes we grow up with parents that can really, you know, teach us a lot of skills when we're younger, but then sometimes we have to learn them on our own when we're a little bit older. So it kind of seems like for you, there's something that you really desire, but it's really requiring you to kind of embrace a new persona and to sort of learn kind of some new skills. And I feel like these are deep internal skills. They could even be something that aligned to what you really want to do, but it's going to require you to kind of like step into the unknown a little bit. And so there could be a little bit of fear around that, but I'm really seeing you kind of, there's almost this energy within you that's like, what I want is worth more than me, you know, staying in my comfort zone. So the month of September is really calling you to step outside of that comfort zone and into something much greater. So no longer putting yourself on the back burner, no longer putting like important stuff on the back burner. Maybe we were scared of like, you know, getting ourselves out there or being open, right? Being vulnerable, but the month of September is like, nah, we need to be open and vulnerable. We also have the Page of Swords being reversed. Some of you are kind of like scared of what other people are gonna say. We also have Tower reversed and the Hangman. So yeah, some of you kind of fear what other people are going to say, Some of you may fear judgment from other people, but one thing about the Page of Swords coming up, when it's next to the Tower being reversed, you're laying a brand new foundation for yourself, because I think you're realizing that the foundation that you've currently been on, which has been this more Five of Pentacles energy, has not been sustainable. Like, it's really not maybe helping you get anywhere, this old foundation that you've had and this old persona. I really feel like you've outgrown that. And the month of September is kind of like, okay, I know I've outgrown this shell, so I need to step outside of my shell. It's, oh my God, you know what okay, so your spirit guides just gave me a very clear image of how to explain this. So hermit crabs go into shells, right? But sometimes they get too big for the shell, and then they need to exchange shells. And if you ever owned a hermit crab, you know that you need to like get it a new shell every once in a while. But the hermit crab, they're kind of like scared to leave their shell because it makes them very vulnerable. But they know that they've outgrown it, so they know that they need to like go into the new one. And when they're out in the wild, it can be really scary because hermit crabs don't make their own shells. They literally just take abandoned shells from like snails or like other things like that. So it can be a little bit of a daunting task to like, you know, get out of your shell, but you know that you need to. So what I'm seeing for you right now, your guides are kind of showing me that the current shell that you're in, you have outgrown it. It is uncomfortable to stay in that current shell because all of what you desire, you are expanding as a being. And so if you've been feeling kind of uncomfortable lately, and if you've been having some anxiety lately, what Spirit is showing me is that this anxiety is mostly from the fact that you have grown bigger than the shell that you're in. And it's time for you to find a new shell, create a new shell, or to step outside your comfort zone, to even go and explore, to find that new foundation. So the month of September is about finding that new foundation and finding that new shell where you can kind of like belong and expand more. But there's this fear of being vulnerable. There's this fear of like, what are people going to say about me? Are people going to like, you know, what's going to happen? There's a fear maybe even around yourself, not being able to, like being scared of vocalizing what you want, being scared of vocalizing what you need, or some of you may even have like social anxiety is kind of what I'm hearing, but you know that you need to kind of like step outside of that and just like step into it, because that's where we're going to kind of learn, right? And then the Hangman, it's like this is something you've been holding yourself back from for a while, and September is like really this month that's calling you to be like, nope. It's time to finally like do. It is finally time to step outside of that comfort zone, to expand into more, okay? So that is a huge thing I'm seeing for you during the month of September. So let's see what else we get for my beautiful group ones. We have a leg up. So there's like Spirit is supporting you through this process, just so you know. Spirit is like supporting you, and they're saying like, I got your back. Like whatever it is that you're scared of, I got your back. So it is okay, and it's okay if you mess up. It is okay. There's this message coming through really clearly from Spirit, and Spirit saying, it's literally okay if you fall down. It is okay. Like you're going to get back up. A leg up, like you're going to be supported, you're going to be able to get back up. So do not fear falling, do not fear making a mistake. Like you're going to learn from it, and that's going to be the way that you learn. It's like that's it, right? Like we can't keep, when we're raising a child, for example, we can't just like keep them safe in their room, in their cocoon, and be like, that's it, because they're not going to learn anything, right? And then when they go out to the real world, it's like, oh my God, what is all this, right? So right now, Spirit's kind of preparing you for bigger things, because you desire bigger things, group one. You literally desire bigger things. And Spirit's like, okay, I got you. Like, let's go out here and learn, you know? And it's like teaching a kid to ride a bike. They're going to fall down, but it's okay to fall down, because that's how you're going to learn how to be balanced, how to be stable. And then eventually riding a bike is going to feel like nothing. It's going to feel like a breeze. It's going to be so easy. Like you think about getting on a bike now, and it's like, so simple. But when you're a kid, it's very difficult. So it's like you are kind of like, you know, stepping into something new where it might feel a little bit difficult, but it's going to be a breeze later on in life, okay? All that glitters. Ooh, there is some bigger dreams that are coming to the surface in September. And it's also really calling you to take off your mask. Look at these masks over here. The month of September is calling you to step outside your comfort zone and to be more authentic, to be yourself. There's going to be moments where you're like, really, I think the biggest sort of thing that you're facing is to be yourself. you know, to take off any masks that you've had or that you've put on, to be more authentic and to kind of show your light, to spread your light. I think some of you hold back your light around certain people. Maybe around a lot of people. Some of you just hold back your light because you're like, I'm uncomfortable being fully myself. And there might be a fear of judgment or fear of other things. But this month is calling you to let it all shine. Let who you are begin to shine, because that is the only way that we're going to be able to start becoming who we really want to be and stepping into that new version of ourselves. So let's see what else we get for my beautiful group ones. Let's see. Also, we have double sevens. I just want to say both of these cards are a number 7. And number 7s are higher learning. So yeah, I mean, both of you, or not both of you, that was weird. I don't know why I said both of you, but for all of you listening to this, the group 1, the number 7 is all about higher learning. So you're going through some higher learning right now, which makes sense because the Hierophant is also about higher learning. Some of you maybe, yeah, this is something that's going to carry with you for the rest of your life, whatever you are learning right now. I think a lot of you enjoy time alone. A lot of you enjoy kind of the recharge, and some of you might even feel like withdrawing from the situation. Maybe some of you just feel like, oh, I just want my own space to like recharge, and it's okay to take that. And I think there'll still be moments in the month of September to kind of take that time to recharge and reflect and to regain your energy, you know, because you're really growing right now, group 1. You are growing so much, and you're also growing very fast. Let me just say, the energy that I feel from this is very rapid. So this is going to start happening very quickly. This is something that you've been holding off for a long time, and because you've been holding off of it for a long time, it's going to happen very rapidly in this next little while. So let's see these cards that we got here. Okay, so a lot of you are also clearing out old stuff from your life. The Sage is all about clearing out like toxic things from your past, or kind of like cleansing like old stuff, cleansing even like negative thoughts or negative energy that maybe we've had inside. We also have the Seeker, and every time I see this card, it really reminds me of self-worth, because teeth, there's a bunch of teeth on this card, and teeth, whenever we dream about teeth or something going wrong with our teeth, it's they spiritually reflect our self-image and our self-worth. So when we have the open hands with the teeth coming in, I see you starting to embrace more of your self-worth, seeking more for yourself. I feel like you want more for yourself, and part of you kind of like knows what direction to go in, and you kind of have an image in your head of like what would really help you. We also have trust. This is about kind of trusting, being able to trust your future. When we have faith in our future, that's when we can actually fully go in that direction and feel safe doing so. When we don't feel safe, we kind of hold ourselves in a cocoon and we withdraw, kind of like this. And kind of like the spider earlier, he went into a ball, into a cocoon, because he was like scared, but then he crawled away, which was great. So I really see for you, this is about getting outside of your comfort zone. Getting outside of your comfort zone. I know some of you are like, why did you let that spider just wander around in your house? He's still there, but that doesn't bother me. So it does not bother me. But yeah, some of you, you're really used to going back into your comfort zone. But again, a big message that I'm hearing is the only way to create change is when we change. So I'm seeing for you, this next month is all about change. So we also have the Observer, and I think that you are kind of like beginning to see yourself in a new way. The month of September is offering this energy of seeing yourself in a brand new way. And then Dare to Dream, like look at grabbing hold of your dreams. And this is like, I'm just gonna dare myself to go out and try it. And you know what, if I fail, like whatever, it is what it is. It's a learning experience, because even when we fail, we get to learn from those failures, and we get to pick ourselves back up into, you know, new ways. So With that being said, let's go ahead and take our zodiac sign dice. We're going to roll these to get the top 3 most likely zodiac signs that are going to be the most likely to be the most prominent in your life during the month of September. So let's see what we get for you. This could be a reflection of somebody's sun, moon, or rising sign, or even your own. Okay, so we have Taurus, Aries, and Aquarius. Almost said Aries again because they both start with A. But anyway, we have Taurus, Aries, and Aquarius here as the most prominent zodiac signs for the month of September. So that could be a reflection again of somebody's sun, moon, or rising sign. So now let's go ahead and get any last info from our Astro Dice. So we have Uranus in Aries in the 10th house. There's more Aries energy, and Uranus is Aquarius energy, so that's interesting. We also have some Capricorn energy here with the 10th house. But Uranus in Aries in the 10th house, there is change around your career happening. Some of you, this is calling you to step outside of your comfort zone in terms of career. This may be the month that's causing a lot of career shifts for you, or it could even be schooling, because when we're in school, the 10th house will rule school rather than career. But for a lot of you, this is shifts and changes in the realm of the ladder that you're climbing in the world. What ladder are you climbing? Are you climbing the ladder of, learning new things, or going to school, higher education? The Hierophant is definitely higher education. Or we might even be studying something so that we can change something in our career, for example. We might be starting a new job and needing to learn new things in order to handle that new job, for example. But yeah, there's definitely some change here around your career in some way, or around things that you're interested in learning and things that you're interested in expanding in. There's definitely going to be some change around that in the month of September. So that makes total sense right there, especially since September is usually a main month where people start school. So I'm not even surprised that that's coming up in one of these groups. So that is what we have here for my lovely group number 1s. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I'd love to have you there. And hopefully I see you in my next one. Bye. All right, my group number 2s, if you chose this pile, then this is going to be a reading, so let's hop right into it. Okay, so group number 2, here's what we have for you. We have the card of illusion and then the card of compassion over here. And then we also have these 2 cards, which both have angel numbers on them, which is super cool. But this one is take responsibility for your life as a creative adventure. How can you live with more meaning, integrity, and truth? And then this one says, come together, we need each other. Where have you been separating yourself or pushing against others and the world? So I'm really feeling like September is the month of reintegration is what I'm hearing. That's the main word that I'm getting for you for the month of September is reintegration. Reintegrating yourself back into the world, no longer separating yourself. I feel like there's been this energy of maybe wanting to separate yourself from things, wanting to separate yourself from people, or from your dreams or things like that. And I'm really seeing you stepping back into the world in the month of September. I feel like there's been certain things that you've really needed answers on, or certain things that you've been thinking that have been kind of a distraction to you. This illusion card kind of talks about those distractions that we can have in life, and how we can sometimes fall into a little bit of an illusion, and sometimes our mind can be working against us. Sometimes a really important thing that I heard recently was just because we think a thought, it doesn't mean that it's true. So just because we think certain thoughts, it doesn't make it true. Although when we think certain thoughts, they can very much feel like they have a lot of weight to them, that they have a lot of truth to them. But I'm seeing that you're beginning to separate what is real reality, what is actual truth, versus what is it that I'm just thinking, or what is it that I'm just kind of telling myself constantly or feeling that might not actually be true, that may actually be holding me back or limiting me in certain ways. So I'm seeing that you're getting past that and kind of getting over that and bringing in more harmony back into your life. The 33 here talks about harmony, especially when it comes to communication, the people that we talk to, the people that we're around, whether that's friends or family. So I'm seeing friends and family, you getting closer with them, you kind of creating more harmony when it comes to the time that you want to give towards others versus the time that you want to give to yourself. So I'm seeing more of a balance in that area, and also a deeper planning for the future with the number 44. 44s indicate that we are focusing more on our foundation and our sense of security. So a lot of you are kind of making a more solid foundation for yourself and for your future. And it can also indicate that we have like more money coming in or more abundance, or at least we're making plans for more money and abundance to come in the future. The fact that we also have the compassion card coming up, I'm really feeling like your whole mentality is shifting in the month of September, especially if it's been a little bit more on the kind of negative side lately. I'm really seeing that this is shifting. The negativity was kind of this like illusion that was more based out of fear. And I'm really seeing that you are stepping into more of a compassionate version of yourself, because I think that you're kind of ready to let go of whatever this whole other stuff was that was kind of like holding you back and limiting you in quite a few ways. And I also see you just being like more open. I'm seeing you being more open to the world, especially if you've been feeling closed off lately. Spirit's kind of showing me like getting much more open in your heart, much more open in your mind, much more open with yourself even, because I'm kind of like seeing this like almost shutting yourself off, or even shutting certain people off in your life. And I think it's been out of like this sense of survival mode is kind of what I'm hearing. Like there's this sense of survival mode, and that is now ending, and you're becoming so much more open and compassionate in the month of September, because I feel like you're just ready to come out of your shell and sort of leave that behind, because we're realizing like that hasn't been really serving me anyway, to kind of like be stuck in that. We also have the Ace of Swords, so that's a huge mindset shift, and becoming a lot more clear on the direction that you want to go in. And we also have the Knight of Cups. You know what is so weird? That's weird. When I first laid out these cards, these were the cards that were like, that you chose at first. But right when I grabbed this deck, for some reason, I saw the Knight of Cups. When I grabbed this deck, I was like, the Knight of Cups is coming to my mind. And lo and behold, that is the card that we have coming out. So that's super interesting. I was definitely feeling that card for your group. But the Ace of Swords, this one, you are like cutting through the veil of illusion. The Ace of Swords really helps us gain a lot of mental clarity. And if you've been seeking like what is actual truth, what is actually going to come of this situation, how can I take action moving forward, all of these different questions that may have been kind of roaming around in your mind, the month of September, we are getting the answers. And I can tell you right now, like this card, the Ace of Swords, I am just hearing so clearly in my mind, getting answers. Getting answers. If you've been seeking answers, if you've been kind of stuck in this kind of cloud, the illusion card talks about kind of being stuck in that cloud where we're like, I don't really know where I'm going. I don't know what's going to happen. And we might be thinking thoughts that are kind of more in alignment to being in a cloud. And when we're thinking thoughts that are in alignment to being in a cloud, it's kind of hard to think clearly because of course being in a cloud makes us sort of perpetuate the idea of like, I don't know where I'm going, what's going on, you know, and all those types of things. But I'm really seeing you cutting through that veil. It's like the fog is being lifted. That is a huge thing I'm hearing for the month of September for you. The fog is being lifted and you're getting to the point of something. Getting to the point of something, gaining clarity and piercing through the veil that you've been waiting for, and the answers are going to start flowing in. The action that you've been waiting for, the direction that you've been waiting for, that's coming out. I'm almost seeing a map. So the map is reminding me of like planning. There's some sort of planning. There could even be like a destination that some of you are trying to get to, whether that be like an imaginary destination of like, oh, I want to get to this point in my life. So it could be more like metaphorical like that, or like a physical destination, such as like traveling to a particular destination. But there is a point that you're trying to get to. There's like a point on the map that you are trying to get to, and that is getting figured out. The logistics of that are getting figured out in the month of September, and it's like pinpointing where we actually want to go, where we're actually going to be. There could even be a really important decision that you are making in the month of September. Ace of Swords can indicate like signing leases or signing a contract or making an agreement or figuring something out, like getting to the point of something and figuring out the answer. And it's like I keep seeing this image. My apologies, that was really loud. I don't know why some people drive with such like loud motors by the beach, but whatever. So I'm seeing a map, and I'm seeing, you know, when those movies when there's that ancient map that they have over across this table, and they're like in the middle of the desert, and then they have like a little knife, and then they like stab the map. They're like, this is where we're going. This is for some reason the image that I keep getting in my head. So whether that be like a travel plan or like deciding what it is that you actually want to do and where you want to get to. Now there's a plane taking off or a helicopter or something. All of these noises, but that's really interesting because we're right now talking about travel or like moving or like things like that, like logistics of that getting figured out, like where we want to get to in a destination. And the fact that we have these cars going by that are super loud and then like this helicopter going by, there's some sort of like lift off that's happening in the month of September. So those can be taken as signs of lift off that's happening in the month of September, and you're really pinpointing where it is that you want to go. The Knight of Cups over here, this can indicate that we are kind of on an emotional journey, and there's something that's happening where our emotions, we're excited to pour them into something. So as you figure out what it is that you really want, I'm really seeing this energy of like pouring something in, and being excited to pursue something. The Knight of Cups is the pursuit of pleasure, because the Knights are all on a quest. They're on the quest for something, and the Cups are our emotions. So you're on a quest to find emotional fulfillment. You're on a quest to find, where am I going to get the most like pleasure? Where am I going to find like, where am I going to fill my cup? Where am I going to find that fulfillment for myself? So a lot of you are on this sort of new journey, and there could even be something new in the month of September that's very emotionally fulfilling for you, or at least the idea of it is really emotionally fulfilling. And this idea is going to begin a quest for something. Now you're on a quest to make it happen. So this could be on a grand scale. This could even be on a very minor scale. It could be something like, ooh, this made me feel like emotionally fun. Like maybe you're watching a YouTube video and you're like, oh my God, like something that I saw in the YouTube video is like so emotionally inspiring to me, and I really want to go out and pursue that, or it's something like something much bigger, on like a bigger scale of like, I want to travel the world and like build homes or build schools or something. That's something I really want to do lately. So that's why I'm bringing that example up, because that's something that I've been feeling like emotionally really called to lately. But it could be on any sort of like level like that. So I'm basically seeing something is happening during the month of September that is calling you emotionally towards it. So it's something that I think you're going to be pursuing, something that's going to be emotionally exciting, that you feel like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited for that. Like I'm so excited to just experience that, because you know that it's going to fill your cup emotionally. Okay. So let's see what else we get for my beautiful group twos. I also just want to say that you did choose the citrine pile, and citrine is all about confidence, opening up more. It can also indicate like money, more money coming in. So yeah, it's all about that abundance and opulence, and opening up the solar plexus chakra, which is the chakra of like fun and expression, creativity, new ideas, and just overall like having fun and enjoying yourself. So I think that there's an energy coming in September where it's calling you to have fun and enjoy yourself. You could even be coming together with an important person in the month of September, since we do have this come together card. So there could be like an important relationship that you are getting closer to during the month of September. And I also see more creativity. And we also have the Ace of Wands, so 2 aces. There's something that you're saying yes to in the month of September. The aces deal with saying yes to something. The fact that we have 2 aces coming out is definitely making me feel like there's something that is going to be inspiring to you. It's like lifting up, like it's almost perking your ears up, being like, ooh, what is this? Like, what is this idea that I got? Like, this is fun. This is exciting. And there's like a new beginning, because the aces also symbolize new beginnings. So I'm definitely seeing this idea coming to you, or this yes, or it could even be like a contract that you're signing, or something that you're signing up for even. You could even be signing up for something in the month of September. And this is going to cause a new beginning. This is something really inspiring, and it's sparking a new flame within you during the month of September. So that is really exciting. We also have the 9 of Cups. So this is getting something that you've always wanted, something that you've been wishing for. Something that you have been wishing for is coming to a fulfillment. The 9 of Cups always symbolizes a wish being granted. So if you've been in the clouds about something, there might be something that you've been needing to figure out. And it's kind of up in the air. The illusion is up in the air. There's been something that's up in the air. And it is getting more defined. It is getting figured out in the month of September, and it is causing like this like completion. It's not quite a completion yet though. It's just like an exciting thing that's sort of beginning a new journey. And it is sort of like closing out an old chapter, but it's not in a way of like feeling like, oh, I'm closing out an old chapter. Like this is the way of like my chapter is just continuing and getting better. It's kind of like that sort of feeling. And then we have the 10 of Cups being reversed. So yeah, you are not at the completion of a chapter. You're just at the chapter of like, I've been building up to this for so long, and I'm finally getting like the oomph that I've been trying to get to, the big sort of win that was supposed to happen in this chapter. So you're basically getting that. And there is a new kind of beginning that's happening because of it, like a new spark that's coming into your life, if that makes sense. And then we also have the Queen of Crystals. So this card can indicate that we are more focused on taking care of ourselves, more focused on being just very well-rounded when that comes to career, romance, love, our health, everything that's physical in our world. I think there's going to be a bigger focus on everything that's physical around you. So your home life, the food that you're eating, the people that you're with, the nurture, the time and nurture that you give yourself. I think that you're figuring out your schedule a lot more in the month of September. You're figuring out how to have the most balanced and best schedule for yourself. I think a lot of you are also thinking more about your finances, and your finances are feeling more abundant in the month of September, interestingly enough. Like there's something here where we're feeling like, I got this. I'm feeling really good about it. So there's a great energy there around money, but also around time. I'm hearing time management is something that is becoming like much more easy. And there's a better schedule that we're moving into that we're really excited about. And like a whole new chapter. And this new chapter is just like let's become the best version. Let's become the best version of ourselves. So it's a very exciting new chapter that is opening here. So let's see what else we get for my beautiful group twos. We have the Observer. So, you're like looking into the future on something, and something that used to be clouded. Whenever you looked into your future and it was clouded, it was unknown, that is getting figured out again in the month of September, because this card also talks about all of a sudden having a clear image in that crystal ball. And whenever we look into the crystal ball, we're looking towards our future, right? We're looking towards the unknown. There's something that was unknown to you, something that was up in the air, that is getting figured out in the month of September. Let's see what else we get for my group twos. All right, my loves, we also have Ascension. So of course, that is rising up, that is getting to new heights, new levels, which we were kind of talking about earlier. So that one kind of makes sense coming up here. But there is definitely like getting to a new height, getting to a new level in your life. So I'm definitely seeing like, stepping up the ladder. Like you're going up the ladder in the month of September. New levels of maturity, new levels of all sorts of other things. We also have the card of Speak Truth. So this is about being open and honest. September is also calling you to be more open and honest. And we're going to have to kind of like just speak our truth in the month of September. And that also might be something that helps us get more clear on what's exactly happening, and where exactly we're going and what our future is going to look like. Comes through kind of being authentic about what it is that we need and want in our life. We also have the Weaver. So, you're making some moves or some decisions in the month of September that are kind of like weaving the web for the next like couple years of your life. And that might sound daunting, but don't take it in a daunting way, because it seems like it's turning out very well. But there's some important decisions, kind of like I was saying, there's some sort of clarity that's coming to you, whether that be like what you're taking action on, or some sort of plan that you might be committing to, or something like that, that is weaving the web of your future. And it's cutting away, like, look at, you're gaining clarity. This Ace of Swords, you're getting clarity on it. But because you're gaining this clarity, because you're pinpointing exactly what you want, it's literally weaving you to it. It's weaving the web of your future. So there's going to be some important decisions, some important ideas and thoughts that come up in the month of September that are literally weaving the web of your future. And this is going to really like tie you to something. So again, I'm really feeling like signing a lease, signing contracts, this could be like signing for a house, buying a new car, committing yourself to something. This could be signing up for a course, signing up for some big travel in the future, signing up for something, but this is somehow really tied. It's like really weaving the web of your future. So that is very interesting. So that being said, let's go ahead and take our zodiac sign dice. We have 3 of these dice. We're going to roll them to find the top 3 most likely zodiac signs that are going to be the most prominent in the month of September. So this could be somebody's sun, moon, or rising sign, or even a reflection of your own. So we have Virgo, we have Scorpio, and we have Leo. So those look like they are going to be the top zodiac signs for the month of September. And again, this could be somebody's sun, moon, or rising sign, or even a reflection of your own. So Virgo, Scorpio, and Leo look like they are the top zodiac signs there. And now we're just going to roll all the dice together to get any last info on this reading for you. So we have Uranus, which came up for the last group, in Aries, which also came up for the last group, which is really interesting, but it's in the 4th house, which is the opposite of the 10th house. For the last group, it was Uranus and Aries in the 10th house, and your group is Uranus and Aries in the 4th house, which is the opposite house. But Uranus and Aries in the 4th house, that's changing up your home life. That is certain things changing up in your foundation. So there could be like new financial decisions that you're making. There could be new home decisions that you're making. Like your home might be shifting and changing up in the month of September, especially with this Uranus. Like Uranus is the planet of unexpected change, also unorthodox ideas and things like that. So there could be ideas outside of the box when it comes to your foundation or your home life. And it could also cause like a new beginning because we have that Aries energy. This is like taking a leap of faith or even being spontaneous. There could be a spontaneous decision around your home life that is causing a big shift during the month of September. So that is what we have for my beautiful group number 2s. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I'd love to have you there. And hopefully I see you in my next one. Bye. Okay, so group 3, if you chose this pile, then this is going to be a reading. So let's get right into it. Okay, group 3, we have a really interesting pile here. So we have the card Forgiveness and the card Alliance, and then we also have the collective field is impacting you, unseen forces in action. How can you relinquish control of the situation that feels blocked? To receive, you must release. What can you let go of? What do you want to receive? So the month of September, I really feel is about kind of letting go of a past situation, especially if this deals with another person, is kind of what I'm kind of feeling from this. So there seems to be a situation that maybe feels a little bit blocked, or we feel like we are blocked from it. Maybe we're hanging on to something that just recently happened and we're feeling like a little bit like it's holding us back in some way. So there may have been sort of maybe a falling out that we had with somebody, maybe an argument, maybe like, I don't know, something going on that just feels like it's been kind of weighing on you a little bit. This even could be something internally within your own self, within your personal life, or this could be something like externally within different relationships that we have around us. But it does look like it has been sort of maybe restricting you from kind of moving forward fully. But the month of September is about letting go of that. So the fact of Forgiveness and Alliance, I'm definitely seeing you kind of like restructuring or rebridging some gaps that are in your life. There's definitely forgiveness that's happening here, and in the month of September, I'm seeing some sort of apologies being made and some sort of just letting go of this energy so that you can move forward properly. But there is like, you know, this release that's happening in the month of September, but it's really going to set you free. It's almost like there's been a ball and chain weighing you down, but it's almost like you had the key all along to take it off, but we've maybe been a little bit reluctant to, because maybe there's pride in the way, or maybe there's like, it just felt off to kind of do so in some way. But I'm definitely seeing the month of September, this situation is getting figured out. This situation is getting cleared away so that we can move forward fully. So the collective field is impacting you. The collective field just means like other people, other things that are around us, other situations that are going on, unseen forces in action. So maybe we feel a little bit blocked because of some scenario in our life. And the month of September is about regaining control over that, forgiving this situation, because forgiveness allows us to let go. And then this card specifically talks about letting go. But forgiveness is the first step to letting go. Forgiveness, just being like, okay, this is what it is. It is time to let it go so that it no longer holds you back, right? Sometimes we don't want to forgive because of our pride, and we're like, I don't want to forgive this. This hurt me, right? But the thing is when we hold on to it and when we don't forgive, we're not letting it go, and then it continues to weigh on us. So we're actually doing us our own harm by not letting it go, right? And it doesn't mean that we necessarily need to forgive so easily to the point where it means that we are disrespecting ourselves. There's a way of doing it where you still respect yourself and you still respect who you are, and you put up proper boundaries and whatnot, but we're able to still move on with our lives, right? So there's a difference in that. We don't need to disrespect ourselves and just forgive and forget. I'm not saying that at all, but what I'm kind of seeing in this situation is learning how to forgive in the way that you still have proper boundaries, you still own that self-respect, but you're able to move on and let go of the situation. So this card right here says, to receive, you must release. What can you let go of? What do you want to receive? So there's an outcome that you really want. But in order to get to that outcome, we're going to need to forgive and release and let go of certain things that are currently standing in our way, okay? I'm also seeing the card here of alliance. So this card is reminding me that there might be some sort of benefit in not burning bridges. There's almost like this energy of here of like, don't burn bridges. Like, let's learn how to be mature and handle this in a very respectful and mature way. So I don't know if this is something that, you're already sort of dealing with, something that you're kind of already seeing and going through right now, but Spirit is definitely coming through talking about some kind of forgiveness in order to let go of the past, in order to move on from it. And one way that we know that we've actually really moved on from something, one of the key ways to know that you are actually over something is when you no longer talk about it. And it doesn't mean that you're repressing it and you're repressing yourself from talking about it, but it's when we're no longer even thinking of it because it no longer is relevant, right? Like, think about something that happened so long ago in your past where in the moment you thought about it all the time and you talked about it all the time because it was so relevant in your current moment. And think about now. Do you ever talk about it? Do you ever think about it anymore? Does it rarely come up? We all have those scenarios where, in the past it was so relevant and we couldn't stop talking about it, but now we don't even think about it or talk about it anymore. That's when you know that you're over something. That's when you know you've fully let it go, is when it no longer really comes up and you don't feel the weight of it anymore. But if you're still feeling the weight of it, if you're still thinking about it, you're still feeling the need to talk about it, that means it's not fully let go of. So, Spirit right now is coming through saying that it's going to benefit you to learn how to forgive and let go of this situation. We also have the 5 of Pentacles coming up. That's super interesting. That came up for the last group too. And it is reversed. So this is about acceptance, letting something back in, but not necessarily especially if it's toxic, obviously don't let those things back in. But this is no longer feeling like we need to shove things away from us. We need to push it away. We need to disown it. We need to the silent treatment. I'm almost hearing the silent treatment, or feeling a lot of negative emotions, closing the doors. I'm really seeing doors being pushed back open in the month of September, in the sense of forgiveness and understanding is coming back into play with something. And this alliance, there's a rebridging here. There's a rebridging where it's not necessarily like we have to be all, roses and flowers again, but alliance is at least this realm of understanding and this realm of okay, we're going to be at peace with this, and it's no longer going to be carrying around a dark cloud with us anymore. So it's getting rid of the dark cloud that's been impacting you, because literally it's the collective field has been impacting you, unseen forces in action. So how can you relinquish control of the situation that feels blocked? And the only thing that we ever have control over is ourselves, right? So it's how we decide to take action. It's how we decide to handle this situation. So I'm definitely seeing no longer being closed off, no longer pushing things to the side or sweeping them under the rug. I'm definitely seeing this energy of no more sweeping things under the rug. So in order to receive, you must release. And I honestly think things I'm seeing you getting into this dancing energy again by the end of September. Like this energy of like, I can dance, I can flow, I can be flexible. I'm seeing you getting back into the zone of flexibility, of fun, of dancing, of like enjoyment by the end of September. But it's all dealing with letting go and forgiveness. But in order to let go and have forgiveness, sometimes we need to confront the situation. Sometimes we need to confront it within ourselves, within other people, all sorts of different things in order to fully like release things in the proper and correct way. So let's see what else we get here. We have the Four of Cups being reversed. So this is when we're finally taking an opportunity. For some of you, there's been like an apology that's been waiting. For some of you, there's been like this way to get out of your situation, but you've maybe been too attached to the situation to want to let it go or to take the opportunity to move past it. But finally in the month of September, I'm seeing you taking the opportunity of like, I want to move on from this. I just want to move on. You know, it's the energy of like, I'm ready to move on. But it's also the energy of like strength as well, of knowing like, hey, I'm taking back control over my life. Like, I'm not just going to sit and sulk. I want to take control. I want to confront the things that I need to confront, and I want to clear it out. Like, it's time to clear out the closet, and the month of September is all about that. And the new opportunity that you're taking is really getting you out of an old funk. There's an old funk that you've been in. And the month of September is you taking this new opportunity, this almost forgiveness. Like, I'm seeing like the doorway opening of forgiveness happening in the month of September. And it's coming up, whether that be through you or through another person or something like that. But there is a doorway of forgiveness that's opening, and there's new opportunities coming about because of that. There's a new door of your life opening. The Five of Pentacles being reversed talks about entering a new doorway, entering a zone of comfort, entering a zone of peace, of tranquility. The Four of Cups being reversed, you're absolutely taking on a new opportunity in your life. Like, you are moving past the past and it is going to be so much better. There's flexibility here. You are becoming much more flexible in your life. And it's not necessarily that you're compromising or giving stuff up. You're just becoming more flexible in your own life rather than being rigid, rather than feeling like you're stuck. You're no longer going to feel like you're stuck by the end of September. There's this movement, flow coming back in. Like, look at her. There's this movement and flow coming back into your life. We also have Ace of Swords being reversed. So gaining clarity on a situation is going to be really important. Some of you really want clarity, but some of you may have to kind of like, I don't know, just like move on from like a situation is kind of what I'm hearing here. Like moving on from a situation where maybe we don't see eye to eye on it. That's an interesting message there. We also have Wheel of Fortune. So a lot of things have been culminating to this point, and I really see that you are shifting your destiny with these shifts that you're making in September. There's going to be major new choices that you are making and a major new direction. Like, look at this wheel. It's like you're steering your ship in a brand new direction. Maybe you've been in a little bit of a storm lately, and you are completely steering that in a new direction. You are taking back control over your life rather than letting the boat steer itself, or rather than letting the waves push it wherever it wants to. I'm really seeing you stepping back into control of your own life. And like having important conversations, kind of getting clarity on things that were kind of not super clear in the past. You are gaining more clarity on that, and you are shifting your direction. The Wheel of Fortune coming upright is super positive because this is steering you in the direction of more fortune, more positivity. Okay. And then we have the Emperor. Oh my goodness. We have Mr. King Neptune here. So the Emperor, you are absolutely taking your power back in your life. Group 2 or 3. You're group 3. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I get lost on the group numbers because I'm so used to like doing these, and I'm like group 4, group 1, group 2. We're definitely group 3 right now. So I'm sorry for messing that up there. But the Emperor, you are taking back control over your life. You are going to feel so good by the end of September, by the way. You are going to feel more in your power than you ever have in the last year. You are feeling more in control, more yourself. And I really think that there's this energy of, like confidence that's coming in, and this energy of like knowing what you want, knowing who you are, and not caring what anybody else thinks about that. Like there's this energy of just owning who you are. We also have the Two of Swords being reversed. And it's interesting that in this depiction, it's two people, whereas in the original depiction, it's just one single person. It's more of an individual issue. But in this card particularly, there's two people in the Two of Swords, which is not normal. But considering that we use this deck for you, and this is the card that's coming out, this is definitely making me feel like you were at a conflict with somebody. Since this is upside down, this conflict is ending. This conflict is getting figured out. And I know I kind of keep ruminating on that same topic, but it kind of just keeps reappearing here. So we just keep going into it a little bit more. We're also going to take some more cards though to get some more info on this month for you, this month of September. I see like forgiveness happening and almost like laughter about it later on. There's almost like a laughter about it later on, where it may even be like a few months from now that you're going to be like laughing upon this scenario, being like, oh my God, like like, oh, why did I let that affect me so much? There's almost like that sort of energy, because you're getting into a much more fun zone, especially by the end of September. And I think October even still is going to get even like more fun and more open for you. But I'm definitely seeing a lot of fun energy. Like you're shifting the ship. You're going in a new direction. You're turning the wheel, going in a new direction, because I think that you're kind of over heading towards the storm, and you're kind of over being in the storm, that you're just like, you know what, I'm heading out of here. Like I'm not like going this direction anymore. And I think your approach is changing. The way that you approach this situation is going to shift. You're coming back into your power, and I think that you're done like being controlled by the external. I think that you're done like not stepping up, and you're here to like step up and like do what you got to do. So we also have this milk and honey card. This one is like, after the rain, that's when we get the rainbow, right? So there's been a little bit of rain. There's been a little bit of a storm in your life. But after the rain, that's when we get the rainbow. And it also leads us to something better, to something good. So I actually think that there's going to be a gift that you receive out of this. I'm not necessarily thinking like maybe physical gift. I mean, it could be. But I'm feeling more of like a gift of something. There's more fulfillment, more happiness. Like we're clearing old energy. The rain helps us clear, right? So when we go through a bit of a storm in our life, it helps us clear energy. So I'm seeing that you, in the month of September, it's like clearing out that energy, and there's that rainbow at the end of it. This is going to lead to something much more fulfilling. What you went through, this is a stepping stone on your journey, and this storm was meant for you to kind of shift directions. This storm was so divinely placed in your life to cause you to shift directions in your ship, because now I think it's leading you towards like, I'm getting this image of leading you towards a secret island, and I'm almost seeing this storyboard in my head coming about. I'm not sure if this is from an actual movie or if my brain is just like making this up right now, but I'm seeing this like motion picture movie where there's a ship out in the middle of the ocean, and they're like trying to get to their ultimate destination. But where they think that they're going is not where the ultimate destination really actually is. And they might be unaware of like something better. Like it's almost like pirates out in the middle of the ocean, and then they hit like a storm, and it like makes them sort of shift directions, and it pushes them in a new direction there. And in the storm, they're like, oh my God, what is this? Like, oh no, this is crazy. This is so hectic. I wish this didn't happen. But then all of a sudden after the storm, it like pushed their ship off course in this other direction, where there's this unique special island that like nobody's ever discovered before. And they're just like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, whoa, never would have thought I would have gone on that direction. And then you're like, thank you, storm. Where is this place? This is cool. Let's check this out. So it's really leading you to somewhere new. And that's the depiction that I'm getting in my head of what this is leading you towards. So I'm kind of hearing go with the flow, but then also as this storm is ending, take back control, because you need to now be the explorer of this new realm. You need to now be that King Neptune that's like leading the ship, and you're like, oh, hey, there's a new island over here. Let's go check it out. Like, let's be a leader now. Let's step up. So I'm seeing this more leadership, more control kind of like coming back into your life, where you're like, let's explore this new realm, because I really think that there's going to be some sort of treasure here for you. There's going to be some sort of big purpose for you, shifting directions in this way. And then we also have Between Worlds. Ooh, so guys. Look at this storm. And then look at this. This is kind of like the ocean that I was thinking of when you're like stepping off the ship from that storm and then going into this like new realm where you're like, whoa, there's a lot here to explore. This is literally the depiction that I had in my head. This is crazy. So imagine that you're the flamingo. You just went through the storm. It caused you to completely go off course. But then you're at this like unknown island that you're like, ooh, I'm going to explore that. Like, that's really cool. Oh, guys. I had to drop that card. I couldn't even believe it. Like that like jolted my body to even see this card. How well does this fit into the story that I was just seeing in my head? Like, I can't. I literally cannot. Okay. The milk and honey was making me think of that story that you're gonna like find your treasure island, and then literally we have the treasure island card right after the between the world card, which I'm gonna change the order of these so that they're actually in the sequence that I pulled them out in, because that's just gonna make more sense on our storyboard. But like, it rained, there's now a rainbow, you came through the storm, and it's like, you found your treasure island. Like, okay, the month of September, embrace even the negativity, because sometimes it divinely shifts our direction in the best way possible. I also want that wheel to still be like noticeable here. There we go. So that's a little bit better to see what's going on. But yeah, wow, this is gnarly how this whole story is unfolding here. But anyway, I've been doing tarot and oracle for literally so long, and still when synchronicities like this happen, which happens very often, I still freak out. I still get so excited. But anyway, let's see what else we get for my beautiful group threes for the month of September. So just so you know, this might be one of the best things that ever happened to you. Whatever you're dealing with right now, whatever this like conflict is, or whatever this stuck feeling is kind of gonna be one of those best things that ever happened to you kind of situations. So we have withdraw, but it's being very directly reversed today. So I'm thinking that this is talking about you coming out of your shell, coming out of this withdrawal. I think you've been withdrawing yourself from the situation because you're like, I don't want to face this, I don't want to deal with this. But now it's time to really like come out of your shell in the month of September and kind of like get your explorer hat on, you know what I mean? And like, let's start exploring this new situation and new world and new realm that we're in. We also have the Weaver coming up. So you're really weaving a new destiny here, going in a whole new direction. We also have the Ace of Swords right down here. And then we have this sword right here. So it's kind of like this new direction, these new thoughts, these new ideas that are coming to you are going to really help you sort of weave a new web of your life. And we also have strength with the killer whale on it. So be strong. You're literally moving in a brand new direction. I think that this is also talking about emotional strength. So you might feel emotionally kind of weak right now after going through a bit of an emotional kind of ride in your life. But I'm really seeing this sort of like strength coming out of this. And a very positive, very positive new direction. I'm loving this. This is great. So let's go ahead and we're going to take our zodiac sign dice and we're going to roll these three zodiac sign dice to get the top three most likely people or prominent zodiac signs that are going to be in your life in the month of September. This could be a reflection of somebody's sun, moon, or rising sign. So let's see, group three, we have double Taurus and Gemini. Okay, so double Taurus, we're also going to roll this one once more to get hopefully another sign. So we have also Libra. So Taurus, Gemini, and Libra energy. That looks like the most prominent. So that is Taurus, Gemini, Libra, sun, moon, or rising that are most likely going to be the most prominent for you during the month of September that you are going to be dealing with. So now let's go ahead and take our Astro dice all together and see any last info. So we got Jupiter in Libra in the 11th house, friendships. There is something here. You are meant to expand your friendships. You may be meeting new people in the month of September. You may also be learning how to balance out relationships in order to have them expand, because sometimes we can reach like a stagnant place in our relationships. And that's never that fun because we're either growing or like declining, getting smaller, right? It's really hard to just maintain. Our world is always in motion. Our world is always doing change. So one thing that I'm kind of seeing in your friendships is learning how to expand friendships and also learning fairness in friendships. What is fair? How can we approach things more fairly? How can we create more balance so that we are growing, so that we are expanding in our relationships and with our friends? And this can also be exploring too, because the 11th house can also talk about travel and exploring. So there could be something here where we're traveling and exploring some more and expanding our realm of like communication and understanding other people from different perspectives. This is majorly about understanding other people from different perspectives, by the way, because Libra is the scales of knowing both sides. And then the 11th house is about friendships. Okay, so this is about knowing both sides of a scenario, opening yourself up to expand so that you can understand two sides, so you can understand both reasonings, both sides of a scenario. So that could also be a very big sort of realization there. And this can also talk about expansion in like social media as well. So there could be something that you're exploring on the internet that's causing a big expansion for you. Maybe you're exploring like new ideas, new things, trying to expand yourself. And so this can also be talking about expansion of the self and in your own mind, and definitely on the internet or within social media. So that is what we have here for you, my beautiful group 3s. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up for me to let me know that. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I'd love to have you there. And hopefully I see you in my next one. Bye. Okay, so group number 4, if you chose this pile, then this is going to be your reading for the month of September. So let's get right into it. Okay, group 4, let's get into your reading. So we have the adaptability card, and we also have the creative spark card. And then we also have the card of it's all in divine order, allow. How can you relax into the flow and go with the current of life? And we also have you are the joy seeker. What little victories can you celebrate? Ooh, so let's talk about your month of September based on what we have here. So the fact that we have the it's all in divine order and the adaptability card, this is definitely making me feel like there's certain changes that are going to be happening in the month of September that maybe we're like, whoa, that's a lot, or maybe it feels even slightly out of our control. But one thing that I'm really feeling is like a very prominent message from Spirit here is, how can we go with the flow? Because there's something that you're manifesting right now. There's something that there's certain shifts in life that need to take place in order for you to kind of like manifest the kind of vision that you have for your future. And there's this reminder from Spirit that, hey, it is all in divine order. We need to begin to allow it rather than resist it. Because when we resist change and we're not being adaptable, we will get swept behind, because the world is in constant change. Nothing is ever stagnant. Everything is always in motion. That is one of the laws of the universe, is the law of motion. Like everything's always in motion. Or I think it's the law of even vibration that says that everything's always in motion. But anyway, everything is all in divine order. Allow. There are certain shifts that are happening. There's certain like ripples that are happening. Like this card is reminding me of those ripples. So there's certain things, again, that you are manifesting, but there's certain things that kind of need to change up in your life. And you might feel like certain things are happening a little bit outside of your control. And you're like, okay, why is that happening? But the universe is like, hey, this month is the month to be adaptable. Be open to it. Be open to allowing, because the river there's a big current in the river right now, and it is taking you somewhere new, and it is time for us to trust it, because if we resist it and we try to swim upstream, it's like a salmon swimming upstream. They don't get anywhere. They remain stagnant when they try to swim upstream because the current is so strong. So if we just relax and we go with the flow and we let it take us to the destination that it's trying to take us to, we will be much more at ease, and we'll get there a lot faster, and we won't feel so much resistance in our life. But if you're feeling resistance, it's usually because we're going against the grain and we're going against the flow. And so the month of September is about going back into that flow and learning how to be adaptable to the situations, because this is really leading you somewhere, group 4. This is really leading you somewhere new. So it's time to trust it. Trust the changes. That is a huge thing I'm hearing, is trust the changes. They're leading you somewhere new. We also have the number 1 right here. The number 1 is a new beginning. There's new things that are about to take place. You're on the precipice of a new beginning in the month of September. It is time to be more adaptable and more open and more ready to go with the flow, okay? And then we also have the number 7 here, which is higher spiritual learning. So there is some higher wisdom that you're going to be gaining through this that is really important for your future. And then we also have you are the joy seeker. What little victories can you celebrate? So this is about celebrating the small victories along the way because it is leading you somewhere bigger. And if we can learn how to have joy and how to celebrate even the smaller victories along that path, it is going to set us up for success because we're going to have so much more energy to put forward because whenever we celebrate something, we get into a much higher, better mood. Rather than when we're like looking at stuff and we're like, blah, like, what is that? Why is this happening? You know, like when we're in that mood, it's really hard to move forward and it's really hard to get to our destination. So what I'm seeing for you is this ability to kind of learn how to go with the flow a lot more. And through that, I'm also seeing this lesson of let's celebrate those small victories. Like, let's feel proud of ourselves for even the smallest of things. Like, let's go outside for a walk in the morning and it's like, ooh, I did it. And it's like, yay, breath of fresh air. And like, I feel so proud of myself. So even those small victories, that'll get the momentum going for your future. And I really see you're like a big stone that's, you know, we're trying to push it. It's like a big boulder that we're trying to get moving, but once it's moving, it is unstoppable. That is the imagery that I'm getting for you right now, group number 4, is it might feel a little bit like, woo, like hard to kind of get started, hard to kind of get going. But once you just push that stone far enough, it'll gain more momentum to the point where it is unstoppable and you could never stop that stone from rolling down that mountain. So that is like the imagery that I'm getting for you for the month of September, is like this beginning of that kind of energy. Then we also have creative spark. So this is really going to start a whirlwind of newness for you. I'm seeing a whirlwind of new change happening. We also have the number 4 and 8, and that has been a very prominent number for everybody in this reading so far, in this month ahead reading. 4s and 8s have been super prominent. So 4s are all about setting a foundation, setting a reliable, solid, secure foundation where you feel really safe moving forward. And the 8 is infinite potential because it's literally the infinity sign. And 8s are also, oh my God, there's a monarch butterfly flying in my window. Ooh, that's like totally a sign. Butterflies are a sign of transformation and metamorphosis. You are about to grow your wings, but the way that you're going to grow your wings is to trust the process, okay? Because it's almost like the cocoon is wrapping around you. There's certain things that are outside of your control that are just like part of nature's process. And it's like, whoa, like what's happening to me? The universe right now is like, go with the flow. Go with the flow of it. Trust it, because right now you're about to grow your wings. And if you can like continue, oh my gosh, that butterfly just keeps flying in my window. Wow, he really wants to come in here. Okay. But anyway, if you keep going with the flow and if you keep celebrating those small progresses, it is going to build that momentum of happiness and joy, and it is going to create a new creative spark for you. I'm also seeing spending tons more time in nature. I see you kind of like really wanting to be in nature more, really wanting to be like, I'm seeing flowers. There could even be like, ooh, okay, I don't know why I'm hearing this right now, group 4. I've never heard this message in a reading before, but here we go. I'm hearing this message that in the month of September, there may be a moment that you're walking or something where you're surrounded by flowers. And for some reason, that'll be an important moment for you. Pay attention to what you're thinking of in that time, or pay attention to what's happening around you in that time, or like maybe what people are saying around you at that time, because for some reason, that's going to be like an important moment in some way. It could even be when you're by yourself and just focus on like, oh, what am I thinking about in this moment? Like, what was coming to my mind? Because somehow that's going to be like an important moment for you. And it might be a big sign from the universe sometime when you're like surrounded by flowers. I am also seeing like you guys are really connected to fairy energy. Like elves and fairy energy is something that I'm also really feeling in this group. I don't know, maybe I sound like I'm crazy right now, but like I am definitely feeling like this fairy energy and this energy of you becoming light as a feather. Like, I don't know. And it's spreading your wings. And it's probably why I'm thinking about that. We literally had this butterfly trying to fly in the window, and fairies are like humans with wings, right? So they're kind of like human butterflies. So that's probably why I'm like connecting that. But I'm definitely feeling this fairy energy where you are like growing your wings right now, and you are learning how to fly. You are learning how to really create your reality on like a newer, deeper level right now. And there's like, yeah, there's a new whole energy doorway opening with lots of infinite potential. I feel like there's a new you that really wants to be recognized and that really wants to kind of come out. So keep that in mind as well, because I'm definitely feeling that for this group. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take our tarot cards. And let's get some more info for your month of September. But definitely, like, I don't know if you guys are like interested in fantasy stuff, or if lately you've been like, I don't know, like focused on like, I don't know, like fairies or flying things. But yeah, definitely feeling that energy for this group. It's like you're really growing your wings in the month of September. And it's going to open up new doorways for you. There's new creativity. I think that there's going to be like a new interest that you have too coming up in the month of September. That's really making you feel much more creative and like excited for what's to come in the future. So let's see what else we get from my beautiful group fours. Okay, we had a card fall on the floor. A little bit of a chaotic kind of energy with cards flying out everywhere. So let me go pick that up really quick. Okay, so we have the Five of Cups here, which I really see that you're walking away from like old issues that used to bother you, and you're walking to where the grass is greener. So the month of September, walking to where the grass is greener, things that are out of your control that maybe didn't turn out the way you wanted them to, or things that feel like they're kind of like toppling over. I'm seeing in the month of September, you're kind of just walking away from that and you're ready to go to the new stuff. And the universe is really calling you to go towards the new stuff too, by the way. The universe is totally in support of like, let's cross the bridge and let's just go somewhere that's new, somewhere that's fresh. Let's focus on the new, let's focus on the fresh. Because if something like tips over and breaks, like, I mean, if we break a cup, is it really worth like patching it up? Like, it's probably just going to break again. It's probably not as reliable. So right now the universe is like, if there's certain things that are breaking or falling apart in your life, if there's certain things that are just not reliable anymore, maybe it's time for us to kind of move on and focus on the new. Let's focus on creating the new rather than like focusing on things that are kind of like already broken. Although, you know, at times it's definitely appropriate to fix certain things, but I'm definitely hearing this message of like, don't cry over spilled milk, don't cry over a broken cup type of energy. So yeah, whatever that means for you, however that's relevant for you. We also have the Justice card coming up. So this is kind of like putting your foot down. What is fair? What is equal? I also see you creating new boundaries in your life, because I think that part of you is like, I don't want to deal with certain things anymore. And part of you is like really done and over certain stuff. So I'm really seeing this like more important boundary being made in your life, especially when it comes to the past, or when it comes to like certain things that you're kind of just, you're like, I'm not here to continue dealing with that anymore. I'm really seeing you laying your foot down more and creating like boundaries, creating new rules in your life. This could even be new rules with yourself, by the way. Maybe you have certain behaviors or habits that you're just like, I'm just done with my own shit. I'm done with my own like weird behaviors and weird habits. And you're just like, let's lay down the law. And I also think you're making a commitment to yourself, because justice can also talk about making a really solid commitment, and you're balancing something out. So we trade in one thing for another. We may have a bad habit, or we may have something negative that we don't want in our life anymore. And we're laying down the law because we're like, no, I'm going to do this instead. We're replacing it with something, because the only time that real change can happen is really when we replace old habits. So if we have a habit of like eating really unhealthy food, but we eat it because we just love the pleasure that we get from eating really tasty stuff, it's gonna be really hard to break that habit if we cannot find healthy replacements for those things that give us the kind of an equal amount of pleasure, right? So we need to find new ways of doing things. We need to replace it with something. We need to replace it with something else. So there's something in your life that I really see that you are kind of replacing, and you're also kind of making a commitment to yourself on something in the month of September. We also have this Eight of Wands, so I really see you also really moving forward on something. You are shooting for something that's more clear to you, and I think that it's more clear in your schedule. There's things that are more clear in your schedule that you're like, oh, I can do that now. I feel more freedom. There's definitely this feeling of more freedom and more clarity in your life in September. It's like your direction is becoming so much more clear to you. And it's definitely this like just putting the foot down of like what you don't want anymore. And you are very clear upon what you do not want anymore. Let's make that clear. Like you are getting very clear on what it is that you do not want in your life anymore. And you're also getting very clear on what it is that you do want, which is like one of the most important things, right? So let's see what else we have for my group fours. We also have the perspective card, which is basically the hangman card. But I'm really seeing you seeing the world in a new way. Maybe even seeing yourself in a new way. You might even be shifting your perspective on certain things that maybe you thought were once hard for you, certain things that you've wanted to do that you're like, oh, that's really hard though, I'll never be able to do that. I'm really seeing you shifting your perspective on that. You're like really reflecting on certain things. And I really see this time out. It's almost like there's a time out in the month of September where you're really gonna reflect on previous choices. You're really gonna reflect on your previous way of being. And it is going to shift your perspective more than ever. It is going to help you really see and gain clarity on what it is that you actually want to go for, which is why we have this justice, because you're finally ready to really make a decision, like put your foot down, put that sword down. And nobody wants to like cross that. So it's almost like you don't even want to like cross your own word. You're really making deeper promises to yourself, and you're shifting your perspective on a lot of different things. You could even be opening yourself up to a brand new perspective. Like there could be new information that you are getting in the month of September that really help you solve something in your life, that really help you begin moving forward. So just pay attention to, what other people are saying or what you're learning kind of in the background. I'm seeing this like deeper learning happening, and all sorts of like good energy kind of coming into your life that help you really make the shifts that you've been meaning and desiring and wanting to make. We also have the Queen of Wands being reversed. So there's certain things that I feel like you are really wanting to do, but the energy just hasn't been there. So there's certain things that you really desire to do, but the fire has not been strong enough. The fire has not been strong enough for us to actually take action on that. But in the month of September, what I'm seeing is this momentary pause, this reflection, and I think it's gonna help you really build up the energy of like, oh, I really do desire to do that. I really want to do that. I want to move forward on that. We also have the 10 of Cups being reversed. So there's this, there's a part of yourself that might feel a little bit empty. It might feel like it's lacking. And it might feel like we're not focused on it enough in order to fulfill it. And the month of September, I think that this is going to be something that you're more aware of and something that you're more willing to actually work on. And this like lack of fulfillment, I really think is coming from the lack of action that we're taking on something. Like it might feel like we don't have enough drive and motivation, which is why the Queen of Wands is reversed. And if so, it's like making this promise to yourself, making this commitment, pushing yourself to do it anyway, pushing yourself beyond what you think your current limits are. Because I think that you almost have this threshold on yourself. That's why we have this perspective card here. You almost have this threshold on yourself of what you think you're capable of, and it's kind of what you're used to. But I'm seeing like pushing the envelope in September and realizing like, I can maybe push this once in a while, and realize like, ooh, that threshold actually doesn't exist. I've been living below the threshold, which I've gotten used to, but it doesn't mean that that is the threshold, right? So, it's kind of like running. When you go running, and let's say you haven't ran in like a long time, and then you run and you feel like you're going so slow, that's because our muscles have lowered their threshold because we haven't been using them. So the muscles decline. And so when we try to run for the first time after not running for a long time, it's going to feel hard. It is going to feel like we get winded really fast. We can't run a long distance. We can't run very fast because it pushes the threshold down. But it doesn't mean that that is your limit, right? Because as we know, it's very obvious to know in the form of exercise that if we continue to run and if we dedicate ourselves to it every day, and if we just push ourselves, if you push yourself 1% further every day, you are going to grow. And it's going to grow exponentially, because if you think about 1% every day, that actually compounds over time and becomes more and more. So anyway, point being, if you push yourself a little bit beyond that threshold all the time, you're going to realize that you actually didn't have a threshold, and that threshold isn't permanent. And it's not stuck there. It doesn't mean that you are that threshold. That threshold is pushable, it's movable. But it's up to you if you're willing to push that threshold, and if you're willing to also keep up with pushing the threshold. Because as we know, we can push the threshold in running and we can maybe improve. Imagine if you've improved your running 30%, which is a lot. So imagine you improved it 30%. If you decide to stop at that, it doesn't mean that threshold is going to stay up there forever. If we stop and we stop practicing, that threshold is going to come back down. It's going to push us back down. So it depends, how much action are you taking in your life? What are you doing in your life? Okay, so if there's an area that feels unfulfilled, and if it feels like you don't have enough passion and drive, it is because you've not been exercising that muscle enough. So once we just begin to push ourselves and we're like, hey, I'm just going to do it because I know it's going to make me feel good. I know that I'm going to feel proud of myself. You are going to start building momentum in that area. You are going to start to build the passion and drive. You are going to start to build that fulfillment. So ask yourself, what are things that actually truly bring long-term fulfillment? Because the 10 of Cups is about that long-term fulfillment. Not things that are quick fixes like, let me just try doing this once. Like, no, 10 of Cups talks about long-term fulfillment. What really fulfills you on a soul level? Because the month of September is really calling you to focus on that and to really bring your attention towards long-term fulfillment. What does that really look like to you? This month is asking you to focus on that and to bring that threshold up by pushing beyond it. And it sucks to push beyond it, let me tell you. We all know going to the gym and lifting weights that are heavier than what we normally lift, it sucks. So it doesn't always feel the most fun. But as we grow that threshold, all of a sudden it becomes easier and easier. And things that we once thought were hard are super easy. And we're like, oh, that's nothing. And then that's what's going to bring more of that fulfillment and more of that potential. Because you have that potential. And as you raise that threshold, all of a sudden that becomes available potential rather than unavailable potential. Anything that's above the threshold is kind of unavailable potential right now, but it becomes available as we push beyond it. Because you have the ability to push beyond 1% at the very least. So it's time to begin opening up more, pushing out more, and that is basically what we have there. That is why we have this dedication. There's some sort of commitment that you are making with this Justice card, and then the 8 of Wands, you are like pushing forward on something, and it's really about finding what truly fulfills you. Okay? So with that being said, let's go ahead and take this other deck of cards and let's see what else we get here. So the month of September, group 4, what else do we have for the month of September? Let's see. Definitely feeling these 2 cards. We have Y. So some of you might be like, oh, actually, you know what? Oh, my goodness. The universe came in super strong just now saying, if you need more motivation, if you're looking for more inspiration, motivation, and drive, come up with a really strong why. Why do you want to do blank? Like, for example, if exercise is one of the things, that's a really common thing that people always really want to do, right? But you could put this towards anything. You could put it towards like building a dream that you really want to do, or like attaining a house or attaining a certain amount of money, whatever it is. But let's use the gym example because it's really, we all seem to understand that one. So if you have a really strong why, and if that why outweighs the reason not to, for example, going to the gym is kind of uncomfortable. We might not know what we're doing in the gym if we haven't been there in a long time, like all these different things. If that weight is stronger than our why, of course, we're never going to find the motivation to do it. But if we can come up with a reason why that is so strong that it outweighs any reason why we shouldn't, any reason why we've had certain barriers stopping us, we are going to absolutely go for it if the why outweighs it. So if the why is like, I want to get fit so bad. I want to be able to feel really good in my body. Working out's really good because it also helps us release toxins in our body too. And it really helps us wring out our muscles from storing old things. And it really helps pump our blood, which cleans out your blood and your veins from certain gunk as well. So, it's very positive to have exercise and work out. So if we're like, I have a dedication to get healthy. I have a dedication to, attaining a certain physique or whatever the case may be, as long as it's in the realm of healthiness. But if that why becomes so strong that it outweighs the uncomfort of doing it, you're gonna do it. So it's about building up that why so strong. So why do you want it? Why do you want your dream life? What would it bring you? And if it brings you something that is so valuable that it outweighs any discomfort of stepping outside of your comfort zone to actually go and attain it, you're gonna do it. And then all that glitters, okay? It's time to shine your light, shine it so strong. Like once you come up with that why and you make it so strong, it's like, bam, like anything becomes available. And it's look at the amount of abundance that you could create. Like the month of September is really calling you and leading you towards more abundance in your life. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what else we get here. So we have the surrender card, which is again kind of going with the flow. If there's certain changes that are happening in your life, don't go against the grain, go with it. But then also let's set some commitments that we want to ourselves, right? We also have the alchemist, which deals with transformation and change. So turning something that was once lead into gold. This is the same as like, you know, maybe we haven't worked out in a while and our muscles are kind of like bleh, and then we can alchemize them through working out. All of a sudden we can grow that muscle. We can like burn fat and turn it into literal muscle, or, you know, it becomes sweat. That is alchemy. We literally transform and transmute certain things. We can take energy and transmute it into doing something. We can transmute it into creating something amazing. We can turn a thought into a physical thing. That is alchemy. That is being the alchemist of your life. And then we also have sacred destruction. So there's certain things that are kind of, again, this is that repeat of that earlier message. There's certain things in your life that may feel a little bit out of your control, but Spirit wants to remind you that this is that sacred destruction. So certain things that are kind of like not going your way, they're meant to not go your way because it's meant to shift you onto a better path. It's meant to shift you onto a better path. So it's time for us to trust it and go with the flow. So to end off this reading, we're going to do some astro dice. So the first astro dice that I have are zodiac sign dice. We're going to roll them in order to get the top 3 most likely, most prominent zodiac signs in your life during the month of September. This could be a reflection of somebody's sun, moon, or rising sign, or even your own. So we have some Capricorn energy, some Libra energy, and some Leo. So Leo, Capricorn, and Libra energy seem like they are very prominent. This could be, again, somebody's sun, moon, or rising, or even a reflection of your own. And then now we are going to take our other astro dice. We're going to roll all these together to get any last info on your reading. So we have Uranus. Uranus has been coming up for almost every group. In fact, it may have come up for, no, I think, yeah, almost every group, like 3 out of the 4 groups we've had Uranus come up. So we have Uranus and Capricorn in the 9th house. This is a shift of your philosophy. What do you really believe? What are you committed to? This is also a change in what you are committed to. What is your ultimate goal? What does that look like? And this is about dedicating to it, like dedication. Are you going to dedicate to it? Are you going to commit to it? Because Capricorn is that dedication energy. It is the commitment energy. It is climbing to the top of the ladder, no matter how hard it is. So Uranus is massive shifts, massive changes, especially in the realm of your belief systems, your values, your philosophy on life. This could also deal with travel too. So there could also be unexpected travel plans coming up too in the month of September that also open up. But this can also just talk about expanding your mind as well. So, tons of different energy for the month of September, my beautiful group number 4s. I hope that it made sense. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I'm also seeing explorer energy here, I just want to say. So you might be exploring new ideas. You could be exploring new realms of the world, all sorts of different things like that. So again, just wanted to leave off with that message. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up for me. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I'd love to have you there. And hopefully I see you in my next one. Bye!